So today we're talking about Claude Code, a new way of working with AI that goes beyond one-off prompts or copy and paste answers. Claude Code lives in your terminal, and it can actually do the work for you, like running tasks, reading and writing files, looping through steps, pulling in live data to produce even more outputs that you can act on. Then we're going to connect it to SE Ranking's Model Context Protocol, aka MCP Server, which acts like a bridge between Claude Code and live SEO data. I do not want to go into the details now, and I want to cut this intro a bit short, but we'll get through everything that was promised in the agenda. All right, let me do the next slide and just get this show on the road. Yeah, unfortunately, we have to take a minute to. We want to take a minute to acknowledge what today is. Today is February 24th, and for Ukrainians, this date means a lot in the most negative sense possible. So it's been 4 years since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, and I'm speaking to you live from Kyiv. And for a lot of us, what you see on the screen is not a headline. It's not a history marker. It's just a reminder that the war is still going on, and it continues to take lives. And unfortunately, around 4 years ago, we lost one of our colleagues, Tatiana Perebinis, and her children. And we want to take a moment just to honor everyone who's been defending our country and those who we've lost. And if you're able to support Ukraine in any way and want to, please scan the QR code on the slide. And there are links to different resources and ways you can help. All right. Thank you for taking a moment to do this with us. And now let's get the show on the road. So my name is Andrew, and I'm part of the marketing team over at SE Ranking. I'll be your host today. You're not here for me. You're here for our two amazing guest experts, Geoffrey Ballester, who is a senior product manager here at SE Ranking. He leads our API strategy and developer-focused workflows, and he's the perfect guy to do this and take care of this topic for us. Hey, Geoffrey, thank you for being here and waiting this whole endeavor out until we're finally live. Thank you for being here.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for being here. Honestly, when we ran the MCP workshop in December, I thought that was the exciting part. But what's happened since then with Claude Code, the workflows people are building, the tools coming out of it, it's on another level. So today we are going to show it to you, and we are going to go live. So really excited to what we are going to show.
Awesome. Welcome once more. And I'm also happy to welcome Anastasia Kotsubinska, our SEO team lead, who will be helping us bring the SEO perspective into what we're building with Claude Code today. Hey, Anastasia, thank you for being here today.
Hi all, happy to be here. And I really think this topic is fascinating because Claude can empower SEO teams to develop, to create, to analyze better, to speed up processes. And we really want to inspire you, to give you some ideas, and to show you that it is really easy to do this kind of things, this kind of automation. And the best thing is that we will be using real SEO data that is really easy to connect and use it with Claude Code. So let's dive in, and thank you for being here.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. I have a couple of things more to say about SE Ranking, the platform that is putting this all together, in case you're new to our platform or maybe you haven't used it in a while. So SE Ranking brings you over 30 purpose-built SEO tools under one roof, from rank tracking to competitive and keyword research to backlinks, site audits, even AI search, and way more. Like I said, 30 tools, because we want to make sure that teams don't have to stitch together different point solutions. On the data side, we know how important accuracy is in the world of SEO, and we go out of our way to make sure that we provide data accuracy of the highest quality with regard to rankings. And we also expose the same data sets via a real-time data API when you need programmatic access. And last but not least, we're working mostly with teams, with clients. So there's a lot of teamwork involved, and SE Ranking realized that when we have teamwork and collaboration defined in the tools and how we set up our tools and the platforms, and you can white label reports, change the interface, have more people using the platform, automate a lot of reporting, which is definitely useful when you're working across many stakeholders. All right. Thank you for sticking around with us 17 minutes after the time we're supposed to go live. So really appreciate that. All right, we're finally at the good part. We're gonna break down the agenda. So over the next 45 minutes or so, we're gonna quickly cover what Claude Code is, why SEO teams are excited about it, walk you through setting this whole thing up with SE Ranking's MCP server, then run a couple of live workflows so that you can see it in action. and we'll definitely have time for Q&A. So one of the housekeeping rules here is that if you have any questions, just throw them and I will look at them in the moment. If the time is fitting, I will ask Gufre and Anastasia these questions. If not, we will have a dedicated Q&A session. Everything is going to be up on YouTube as once the event is over, it is going to be readily available, or you can wait for the follow-up emails to get a link and watch the whole replay. So for the time being, just soak it all in, kick back, and ask us whatever questions that you have. Now, we're almost done. Just before I give the word to our amazing experts, I just want to figure out who we're talking to basically today, just to get a better understanding and help us help you even better down the road. So we're going to launch a quick, hold on, let me bring up the slide. So we're going to bring up, if you could scan this QR code and just let us know what your role is with regards to today's session. We won't spend longer than 30 seconds on this whole thing. So there should be, a link in the chat. So yeah, let's just we're gonna give you a couple of, well, not a couple of minutes, but a couple of seconds, like 30, 40 seconds to just let us know what you do, who's interested in attending these types of events. Oh, I already see 2 people, 3 people. Oh, I'm so happy. Thank you guys for interacting with us. All right, I see agency owners at 50%. All right, SEO heads, well, SEO leads, SEO heads. We're all SEO heads, right? Content strategists. All right, 17 people. I'm gonna give it 10 more seconds. Well, all right, that felt like 10 seconds to me. I appreciate the 40 plus responses that we have right now. You can continue responding if you haven't yet, but this is definitely helping us create better stuff. All right, this is the intro. Now we're gonna get to the main course of today's event. So I'm gonna give the floor to Anastasia and Gufre. And if you guys are ready, the floor is yours to walk us through Claude Code and its capabilities.
Yeah, so guys, let's start with something amazing. This is a tool that we built, and it actually took us around, I guess, 6 hours to build. It would be longer for the first time, but as you try, it can be faster. And this tool will show you the SEO data that you can have using our API and the MCP. And it can also inspire you to create something similar for your website, for your own purposes, just to start building and to start building using your SEO data. Yeah, now we'll be checking the interface and I'll walk you through what data we have. So this tool actually shows the core SEO data that is available in SE Ranking. It's traffic, backlinks, keywords, AI search. You can see breakdown by locations. You can see your competitors and the share of voice that they have and compare your brand to them. You can also see your presence in different AI engines. So this report can provide a lot of data, and we will show how to build this report at the end of our session. But it's just for you to stay with us to understand how to build this report yourself. Maybe you want to create a free tool for your agency website, or just create a free SEO tool for yourself to tackle some common SEO task.
Thanks, Anastasia. So what you just saw, the free SEO audit tool, we just built it as in less than 6 hours. No front-end developer, no back-end developer. It was just me, Claude Code, and SE Ranking MCP Server. And here is the thing. What we want to show is this is simple. I never visited our API documentation site, not once, okay? The MCP server already knows every endpoint, every parameter, and every response format. And what Claude Code, what I told Claude Code is basically what I want to see in production, and it pulls makes things happen, right? So stick around. At the end of the session, we will show you exactly how this was built, how you could do something similar yourself, and even without even writing any line of code. So let's first back it up. So what is Claude Code, right? So Claude Code, if you have used Cloud before, the chat, the desktop app, Claude Code is different. It's not the chatbot, it's an execution agent. Think of Cloud Desktop as a smart assistant. You talk to by step a step. You say something like do X, you check the result, then you say now do Y, you are driving it, right? With Cloud Code, you flip that. You give it an objective, a goal, and it figures out the path. It plans the steps, executes them, reads and writes files, calls APIs, and keeps going until the job is done. You review the final output. And there is one more, Cloud Cowork. Anthropic just released it in January as a research preview. Cowork is basically Cloud Code for non-developers. You give it access to a folder on your computer, and it can read, edit, and create files and organize documents, okay? Same agentic foundations as Cloud Code, but you don't need a terminal. So you don't need to be technical at all, okay? The difference between Cloud Desktop and Cloud Code comes down to one thing: who is driving? With Desktop, you are step by step, prompt by prompt. And after 4 or 5 APIs calls, it forgets what you said at the beginning. You end up copy pasting your own results back into the chat. With Cloud Code and Cowork, you hand over the wheel. One objective, and it plans the route, saves everything to files, and it goes just straight to the objective, so it never loses context and keeps working until the job is done. Okay, so here on the table you can see all the specific details, but basically today we are going to be running this workshop on Cloud Code because that's where MCP connection shines. But if you're not technical, keep Cowork on your radar. Same power, friendlier interface. Okay. Now, when we were testing all of this internally and preparing for today, some questions keep coming up from the team, and I think they are probably the same ones that you might have right now. So let me address them before we go further. The first one is, what's the best way to use Cloud? Is it CLI? Is it desktop? Or is it like an extension of Cursor, right? Everybody's talking of Cursor as well. The honest answer, it depends on what you are doing. If you are a developer or you live in the VS Code or Cursor, the extension is great. Cloud is right there in your editor. But if you want quick answers, simple tasks, desktop is fine as well. But if you want to run multi-step workflows with real data, which is why we are here today, Cloud Code is in the terminal, and we need to leverage it. Okay? So basically, it depends on what you want, how you feel comfortable. But I would say, please try Cloud Code or Cloud Cowork. Then, are MCPs realistically usable for not technical SEOs, or is this still a development playground, right? Is it to be scary about? This is the one I hear the most, honestly, and the answer is yes. Right now, today, you can use it. The setup takes 10 minutes, and once it is connected, you are talking to Claude in plain English, okay? The prompts I'm going to show you today, there is no code in them. There is just descriptions of what you want. You find keyword gaps, you propose articles, you save the analysis, and that's it. You don't need to know what an API endpoint is. Cloud and the MCP handle all of that, okay? And the third question that I want to address is about what are the risks of giving Cloud Code access to my file system, right? This is a fair concern. So here is how it actually works. Cloud Code runs in a sandbox environment. Every time it wants to write a file, run a command, or do anything potentially destructive, it asks you first, okay? You see exactly what it is going to do, and you approve or deny. It's not running wild on your machine. You specifically with our MCP, it's read only on your SE ranking data. It queries your account, pulls data, runs analysis. It doesn't modify your projects, your campaigns, or your settings. So you keep in control. Okay? So with that out of the way, let me show you why this matters. this isn't just us saying that, right? Probably a lot of you are here because that's what is happening in the SEO community right now. People are building content pipelines, automating competitive analysis, creating tools overnight. This is Claude Code plus real data sources. That's exactly what SE Ranking MCP gives you. So some of you might have seen about conversation about SEO's MCP with over thousands of likes with huge engagement, right? We do the same thing with better traffic estimates than anyone else. We have also AI search data, and we also have different pricing options to fit your needs and the different data requirements that you have. Okay. So in December, we ran a workshop on MCP, and we said coming soon from prompts to agents, right? If you remember. So today we deliver on that promise. So before we go any deeper, let me quickly cover what you need to try this for yourself. There are 4 things, okay? First, you need an SE Ranking API key. If you already have an SE Ranking account, you can add an API add-on. Go to the dashboard, click API, then the API dashboard, and you will see the key there, okay? Secondly, you need Claude Code. You need a cloud subscription with a start at $20 per month. I basically use the max subscription because I'm a heavy user. 3, you need Docker. It is free. It is basically needed in order to run the MCP server locally on your machine. Okay. And 4th, you need our MCP server, right? It's open source on GitHub. It's we will be sharing the links, and there are basically 3 commands that you need to execute. We have a tutorial for that, and you are up for that. Okay, and you are ready to start using it. And basically, we are going to go live with all of you, Anastasia and myself. I'm so pleased to have Anastasia here with us. And where are we going to start, Anastasia?
Yeah, maybe before I will cover the use cases, I just want to emphasize one more time how easy it is to use AI with SEO data and to replicate the same use case, the same workflows that we'll be showing today. So you basically need, I would say, 15 minutes to set up MCP and Claude, and then you will need just to write a good prompt, and you just need to understand what you want to do, your task, your needs, and that's it. It's really easy, and you should definitely try cover some tasks with this setup. So, and what you can do with Claude Code and our data, our MCP. So today we'll be showing how to create an SEO content brief based on SEO data. Also, how to monitor AI search visibility and create a comprehensive, I would say, AI search report covering your brand and your main competitors. But what you can also do, you can track new technical issues using our website audit MCP. You can automate outreach process and do automatic domain analysis to then reach out to those website owners. You can also build SEO tools and different apps. So this list is not full. It only depends on your creativity, your needs, and yeah, you can actually build or do anything SEO related. And now I guess let's go for the first SEO task, which is creating SEO brief. Yeah.
So as we are using this experience, right, in order to do the content brief, I'm just going to use this opportunity to compare the difference between Claude Code and Cloud Desktop, okay? Here on the right, we have Claude Code. Here on the left, we have Cloud Desktop. We are going to be running the same prompt at the same time. Same MCP connection, same data access, same task, okay? The prompt is basically, everybody knows Notion, right? So we are going to ask it to find Notion's top competitors, run a keyword gap analysis, and propose an article ideas, suggest internal links, and save it all to files. Okay, just let me go it live. You see that I just copy pasted the prompt over here, right? And it's just starting. Okay, so while it is running, we can see that it is asking me several things. Okay, it is going to make Claude Code a change. It is going to create a folder. So it is asking me, can I create a folder? So I am just going to say yes, of course. I ask you to save the files organized in folders. So there you go. Okay, tools are loaded, and it is asking me, okay, can I use these different data points from the MCP? And yes, I'm just going to grant it access to the different MCP tools. On the left-hand side, we see that Cloud Desktop is just going straight to the answer. Here we can see in the middle, right? It has acquired different information. It called domain overview. It got domain keywords. We can see here, if we click on here, we see the request. We see the response from our API, right? And it asks several informations, one after the other, right? So both of them are just going up to the objective that we give it, right? One of the things that I want to say is, for example, on Claude Code, it is able to see there are some of the endpoints that deliver a ton of value, like this one over here, okay? Get data domain competitors, okay? The result was a really large amount of tokens that it cannot do anything with them. So it stored this data in a TXT file that then it can access this. What happens with Claude Code? We are just seeing it. It is compacting our conversation, right? Because it has already consumed too much space. And LLMs are not just indefinite. They have a limited memory that they can access. So it doesn't have this luxury of understanding Cloud Desktop, what it can do. By compacting the conversation, it is losing information. It is losing context, right? This doesn't happen with Claude Code. It is just storing the data and just asking me different tools that it has access to in order to pull up with the information themselves, right? So this is a fundamental difference. Desktop is great for quick questions. Code is for real workflows, okay? At the end of this prompt, probably we have done it with a really extensive workflow. Maybe the conversation cannot be compacted even further, right? That means that Cloud Desktop is going to say us, hey, I'm sorry, but I cannot keep up with this because all the data, all the JSONs that I have cannot be compacted. Otherwise, I won't be able to deliver and without hallucinations. So I cannot do this job, right? So in this case, we will have to keep going on with Cloud Code. Okay, that's why again, please don't be afraid of being this thing a little bit technical. If you don't like Cloud Code or you feel afraid of it, just give it a try with Cloud Desktop, Cloud Cowork. Okay. One thing I want to show, Cloud Code is starting to create some files. Let me just go over there. Here we have the different projects. We are Cloud Code Cowork. This is so far we have created right now two different parts of the different data files that we ask it to do, and we will see how it continues to create all the data files. Right? It keeps asking for more data. Right now it's asking domain keywords comparison between two different domains. In this case, Notion and ClickUp, Notion and Asana. I love this endpoint basically because you are able to see which keywords they are ranking that your competitors are ranking that you are not ranking, right? So just for me seeing this, it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. I don't have to tell you, Cloud Code, please use this specific endpoint because I want to deliver this result, right? I just set an objective about content brief, and we are just getting there. Obviously, things takes time, right? As a human being, Anastasia, what do you think it would take us, some job like this?
I guess it should take like 10 minutes maybe, but it's our typical SEO task, and we would spend like 3 to 4 hours doing such a brief. And if you create such a brief properly, because here we use many SEO endpoints, like we use competitive research, keywords research, SERP analysis, AI analysis of the content of the top ranking websites. By the way, what you can also do, it's probably the next step, is to combine two different data sources. So you can use SE Ranking MCP, let's say, for keyword research, for SERP analysis, for competitive research, but you can also connect your Google Search Console for internal linking, which is really great.
Oh, and another thing that yesterday with Anastasia we were thinking, it's like, yeah, but imagine that this process run 10 minutes, then I have to talk with my team, and I was saying, okay, don't say anything else. So what we are going to do is we can install a Google, a Gmail MCP, and when everything is done, you can ask it, okay, right now upload this file to my Google Drive, get the link, draft an email, and send it to this specific person, so that you are completely hands-free, right? You don't need to do anything else. It will just send the email when everything is done. Okay. In the meantime, we just this happened. What we were just saying at the very beginning. This task that we are doing is so large that Cloud Chat didn't manage to work with the available context that it has. Right. It basically says Cloud response could not be fully generated. Retrying won't solve it, basically, because this is because the amount of information that it needs to get the job done is above their own limits, right? So we are just going to keep going above and beyond with using Cloud Code, and it just created the third file over here, and basically we will need a little bit more time to see the results. I would say we are around 60% from the objective. Just a little bit of what all the different steps, right? We have done domain overview, keyword gap analysis, topic selection, keyword deep dive, content analysis, internal links, and at the very end, it will go over to the final brief. Okay. It is asking me many questions because we don't want AI to take over, right? So we are just granting it the access to our tools. By what I see right now, it already completed the related keywords, and it is going on with the AI overview. Okay, it is starting to search for AI search data. Since it might take some time, maybe we can leave it working in the behind, and maybe we can focus on the second part. What do you think, Anastasia?
Maybe let's show the final result of this process, because it looks great. And in this document, in the content brief that we just created, or we are going to create, we will have content structure based on SERP competitors. We will have H1 and title. We will have keyword research data, like your long tail keywords, your target keywords. Yeah, we will have word count and other requirements for your content team to then create content. Yeah, titles, as we see, then target keywords along with search volume and keyword difficulty. And we had a filter for search volume and keyword difficulty, and you can add your own requirements here. And what is actually great is that you get an article, a structure of this article based on your SERP competitors, with the H2s, each section, what to cover, main points. So then you can just use this brief and maybe generate some parts if you use AI to help you with content creation, or just give this brief to your content team and they will handle the rest. But a very important step is still to verify all the data, to edit if needed, to make sure this data is correct and the structure is what you want this article to look like.
Amazing. A lot of value that we are delivering here. So after around 7 minutes, Cloud Code is still working. So we will come back to here. But yeah, this is a result that we already have saved from yesterday, just to make the demo a little bit more straightforward, right? So back to to a little bit more results, right? The second job to be done that we want to show you is about AI search, right? What we are going to compare right now, it's, let me just share it over here. We are going to compare AI search visibility from website builders, Wix versus Squarespace, Webflow, Hostinger, and Weebly. Okay, not Google rankings, rather how visible these brands are when people ask ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Gemini for recommendations. Okay. First, it is asking, it was the leaderboard, right? This is a new endpoint that we recently delivered here in SE Ranking. This is a way to compare different domains and different brands based on the universe of prompts that we have managed to parse. Right now, over 50 million prompts across all the different LLMs. We were able to show the visibility of all these different domains. Okay. Right now, it managed that, and as well getting prompts by brand and by target. What does it mean? Getting prompts by brand means prompts that the snippet, the output of the LLM, contain my brand by name. Okay, and prompts by target means prompts that part of the sources contain my a link to my domain that I am interested in. Right. Basically, this is the topic that we ask. Here there is a list of target, primary target, which is Wix, and a list of competitors, right? And then we ask basically to check like a leaderboard, create a heat maps for each of the different competitors. And at the very end, analyze the prompts that they are mentioned and sources in order to do a quick analysis of that, in order to understand which topics each of the different players is dominating. Okay, it managed to get all the information, and it is asking to create a heat map and a comprehensive analysis. So let me see. It will also take a little bit while. I remember talking about this with Anastasia, and she was really interested with the topic part, right?
Yeah, and yeah, we will show you the final result, but I really like this kind of workflow because you can easily create a free AI search report, let's say, for your client, where you can show the visibility of your own brand and compare it to your main competitors in AI search, let's say, how visible are your competitors and compared to your brand in AI overviews, in ChatGPT and other AI engines. And you can do different kind of analysis based on that data. What I really like is that you can also be really creative here. And because we give AI answers, LLM answers here via this MCP, via this API, you can also do a kind of semantic analysis of how LLMs see your brand. Let's say you can do nouns, you can analyze your top nouns or your top adjectives to see the brand perception, to do a kind of a brand perception audit of your brand compared to your main competitors. And you can see, for example, that your brand is often described as, let's say, affordable, and your main competitors are premium, and do some kind of a similar analysis, which is really cool. And you can build your own analysis or workflow based on this real data.
So that means it has a real implication on how we would use this one in a real campaign, right? So this is a way to understand who is winning the AI search, and basically understanding what you need to focus in order to be able to answer that. It just created, every time is different, right? With LLMs, things are quite interesting. In this time, it decided it will build an interactive HTML file. I was a little bit skeptical because I didn't know what was going to happen. So here is the result. I was not cheating, right? This is the file it created for 46 just 1 minute ago. And here is the data that we are able to see. This is the first time I'm seeing this file. Basically, what we see here are all the different players, right? All the different engines. And we have like a kind of a heat map of who's dominating each of them, right? We have 2 different views of it: brand mentions and link presence by mention. Okay, and here is the combined, so the sum of both these values in order to understand like who is winning and not, right? And basically the final one of the most important ones is like being able to see the prompts deep dive in order to understand what was the question and which is the link that it used in order to answer and why were we mentioned over here. Okay, let me go further in order to see if there is the strategic analysis on topics. Oh, this one, it is one over here. So in this case, topic cluster each brand owns. So we see some examples over here. So in this case, Wix is winning on the how to create a website, the beginner and the free tiers. Squarespace for the design forward creative professionals, and each of them is winning in a different kind of category, right? At the very end, we understand basically we can play around with it and we can ask, okay, make a summary of topics that Wix need to work on in order to improve, right? But basically what we want to show here, it's the flexibility of the tool in order to process a lot amount of data, right? Be able to compute this one and be able to understand, okay, Hostinger, they need to improve a little bit their presence in ChatGPT by brand mention. And basically something that they are doing way better is by link. Hostinger is dominating the authority that it has on ChatGPT. It is higher than the authority that they have by brand mention, right? So you are able to get some of the insights. So just Anastasia, anything else that you would like to discuss on top of this?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that Claude is actually great for creating reports and visualize your data. And yeah, it's probably the best tool for that. So you can actually do the same task in a regular Claude chat. You just use SE Ranking MCP, AI search endpoints, and you can create the same dashboard using Claude. And you can also use your, let's say, brand colors or some specific requirements, and you will get probably the same result.
Amazing. And basically, I was just reading this because every time it produces the outputs formatted in a different way, right? I already knew from executing it yesterday that Wix was the undisputable leader. And we can just see here like an interesting way to frame it, right? And each different ways that it could improve. Right, so interesting insights that we see on camera. Okay, okay. Following up, Demon, remember at the beginning the SEO audit tool from that we showed. It was available over here. Any one of you can come in seointel.vercel.app, right? Basically, you enter a domain, you get the full report. We built it in 6 hours, as we said. No front-end developer, no documentation. The MCP server is the documentation, right? But I promised at the start I would show you, not just tell you. So let's do it live now. Fair warning. Maybe this works. Maybe this isn't. Maybe it requires me to do several questions over and over, right? So we can go to do this together. Okay, what we are going to do is build a mini application together. Let me type it here. Basically, I was thinking, what can we do that it is not going to ruin the whole workshop, but it still shows you how you can do it, right? So basically, I ask it using the SEO data API MCP server. First, check the available MCP tools to find the backlink summary endpoint. Then retrieve the backlink summary for seranking.com using this API key. Okay, and please write a Python script because we want to be able, the MCP and Claude Code, to build things for the long term, right? Things that can repeatably deliver value. And as any developer, probably if you ask it, implement this, what they are going to do is, first of all, they need to play with the data, right? So the MCP called the data, it understood how it is going to be formatted. It used the parameters, it got the response, then it understood it, then it said, okay, I got the data, let me write the Python script on top of it. It is a Python code. Let me probably open it here. It is here. So you see files are just popping up, right? We see this new file. We can open it with Sublime Text. Okay. This is the different scripts that it used. Okay. And basically what we see is real data that in this case, the script is saved as backlink demo.python. And it runs successfully in order to be able to pull this the data that we ask. Okay, so in this case, this is like a live example, different ways to implement this, but just wanted to show it to you, right? Basically, you have a different objective. What you can keep doing is, okay, as Anastasia said, we want to build a tool for that is a lead generation tool to show authority in SEO. We please implement it with using SE Ranking API. People is going to enter a domain and enter an email. Obviously, everybody wants to ask for emails, right? Because that way is how we are going to contact customers later on. And that's a way for basically to show you authority in SEO, gain leads at the same time. And it doesn't require you to ask a contractor, please build me this application, and so on and so forth, right? Hopefully you like the different jobs that we showed here for you. So let's finish it. Basically, since we talk in December, what is new, right? We have the SE Ranking MCP server on GitHub. That's the same. We have right now implemented project API, meaning that everything that you can use on the web app, all the projects, project creation, website audit for the project on a weekly basis, AI rank tracker, everything that you think about that you can use with MCP using natural language, right? And more recently, we added AI rank tracker, which is AI search endpoint. You basically think, okay, for this specific customer, I have a project and I want to track 10 different prompts on a daily or on a weekly basis. Basically, you use our API in order to create those prompts without having to use the user interface. And basically, whenever you want to see the results, you ask it, oh, for this project, can you provide me the rankings for that project on the last 7 days? And it just shows you the data. Okay. What is coming soon? Basically, we want to make things easier for you. Okay, this is about remote MCP. This is about not having to use Docker locally. This is about being able to get a URL, deliver it, put it in cloud, and it will understand how to set it up. And basically, you don't have to go do all the hassle. We are also working on skills for cloud. These are one-click workflows in order to deliver the information that you need. And finally, SE Ranking will have a connector in ChatGPT Store and Cloud Connectors so that you can easily find us, click connect, and start working with us. Okay. So that's it. Basically, we are coming up to the end of the session. Please, Anastasia, Andrew, that was what I wanted to show.
Great. There has been a lot of discussion going on in the chat, and because we already lost a lot of time, let's just quickly get to the questions that we have. So starting off with the very straightforward question: is the MCP available to use in Claude Code?
Yeah, definitely. So we have a tutorial, right? Probably the team is going to share it with you. So you go to SE Ranking integrations. Here you click on the oops, sorry, not sharing a screen. Thank you. So if you go to SE Ranking to our documentation, there is a tutorial about MCP Server, and over here you see the section about connect to Claude Code. This one is quite straightforward. You install Claude Code, assuming that you have already it installed up and running, right? You only need to do one thing, which is adding our SEO, our MCP, right? You do it following this command, and the only thing that you need to do is add here your API key. Okay. If you want to use data API, you put this one. If you don't want to do project, you remove this line, and if you want to use both, you add the API key for both, right? In order to find these keys, remember, you need to go to log into SE Ranking, go to the API section, you open API dashboard, and you will see the API keys over there. Okay.
Appreciate your answer and your questions, definitely, guys. Let's move on to the next one. How does the MCP server handle API rate limits when Claude Code fires off dozens of SE Ranking calls in parallel during a complex strategy task?
Great question, Rainier. So thank you for asking that. Basically, we offer our API with a 10 requests per second. Okay, so at this moment, Claude Code doesn't ask queries at a higher limit than that, right? If in the future LLMs evolve in a way that they need higher RPSs, I would say you can basically contact us. Right now, what we do is basically for more premium customers, we are able to customize RPS even further, right? So it depends on your needs. So right now, Claude Code, based on my experience, does between 1 to 4 requests per second, which is below our limits. So if in the future it requires higher workloads, I would say that our infrastructure is ready to handle that. Right now, it is not like a self-service kind of way, but we are able to handle that surge in traffic if it were to come to that moment.
Thank you. We have a two-part question. It was asked very early on in the event by Lily Evans, who is logging in from the Netherlands. But you were showing at that stage, basically, you were just running a code in the prompt in Claude. So does it tell you how to improve your standings in search?
I would defer that to Anastasia, probably.
Yeah, so what our data provides is probably just the rankings, the keywords, etc. And how you can get the improvements, suggestions is by asking AI to provide some recommendations. And from my experience, when you just ask, let's say, Claude to analyze your competitors or analyze your performance, usually Claude provides the recommendations on how to improve your standing, but you still need to verify that because it's AI, you know.
All right, thank you. The next question coming in, too long of a handle for me to voice it out loud. Are we only concerned with sorry, that's not a question. So the companies that are writing is only concerned with local rankings. So maybe you could inspire them how they can specify instructions for local marketing efforts, just to open up again their thinking, put on their thinking hats, so that they understand how to use Claude Code in like a prompt, natural style language.
Anastasia, do you want me to answer that? I would go for the way to localize with SERP and Project API.
Yeah, okay.
So I would go that way, and probably you can complement my answer, Anastasia. Thank you. So our API is able to enable you to either ask keywords by country or even by city. Okay, some of our users are using Project API for the hospitality business, right? They manage thousands of different hotels, and they want localized results for each of them, right? So you are able to create search engine like is Google, ChatGPT, Gemini, for example, with localized results, right? And then we are able to run those queries and understand your ranking for the different keywords or the different prompts on the different locations that you are interested in. Hopefully that answers the question. And otherwise, Anastasia, if you want to complement it, please. I know that you know way more on the field.
Yeah, I guess there are two ways to get local rankings. The first one is the project API, and you need to have local rankings set up before running Claude. And the second way is probably SERP analysis, where you need to specify a particular city, and then you will get like precise data for that city.
All right. If you have any clarifications to the question, to the answer, let us know. We're moving on to the next question from Madison. What does a good objective look like for Claude Code? How specific is too specific?
I would say basically describe the outcome, not the steps, right? It will be bad if you have to say call the domain overview endpoint with these parameters, then call the keyword endpoint with filter X. I would say it is not needed to invest your knowledge that way. It is better to say, I want to find 5 article opportunities where my competitor ranks and I don't. Focus on low difficulty and save everything in files, okay? This way you are worried about, so you are focusing your energy on understanding what is going to deliver the most value to the business, to the project that you are working on, and you are able to go directly in that direction, and you don't have to worry about the nuances on the different endpoints, the configuration, and so on.
Yeah, and I would add that you probably do not need to specify all the endpoints and the data you need, but it is great to add the steps that you would like to have. Let's say you want to have competitive research or keywords research or SERP analysis, or like specify the steps that you need, and maybe to replicate your process of creating, let's say, a brief or creating a strategy. This way, it should provide better results from my experience, and you control the result better.
Great. Thank you again. Moving on to the next question from Tom. Yeah, I know that we rehearsed this definitely. What is the consumption of API credits and cloud tokens for the examples shown? I'm not sure if we showed this one today live, but I remember we did this, had a screenshot yesterday of how much were spent.
So basically the number of, let me show you here. Let me show you 2 ways, okay? When you are creating different endpoints, we have basically a calculator, right? But in order to generate these prompts, these answers, this report, SEO report, you're able to see over here the different credits that you consume, around 18,000 credits. That might sound a lot, but our starting package is about 1 million, right? So you could be running more than 50 of these reports, okay, just to put things into a perspective. And about clouds, just let me open over here. The usage. So part of this session, we used, you know that cloud has different limits, right? So part of the current session on everything Claude Code and Cloud Desktop, we used 9% of the whole session. So this means we have been working non-stop for the last 40 minutes, running several of them in parallel. We consume 9% of our current session. That translates probably to 2% of our weekly allowance, right? So this means that there is still a lot of bandwidth to play around. And based on my experience, I have never run out of credits. It is meaningful, the number of credits that it consumes, but it depends on the different actions. But my tip here, just hear me out. There are different parts of delivering these solutions. The first one is about creating the plan, okay? When you create the plan, you need the best model in order to do that, right? Cloud basically has 3 different models, right? you have Opus, you have Sonnet, and you have Haiku. I would recommend always use Opus 4.6 in order to generate the plan, okay? If you want to set an objective and you say, hey, Claude, I want to have this objective using SEO MCP, plan the steps in order to get this. Use Opus 4.6. This is going to consume a little bit more credits, but this is a well worth investment, right? Then after planning, you are going directly to execution. For execution, I would say you don't need Opus anymore. The industry standard is that the plan is so good, created by Claude themselves, that you can, at that point, reference the plan and use another model. If you are using Haiku, you are never going to run out of credits. It is the cheapest one. And Sonnet 4.6, this is almost on par on Claude 4.6. So I would say there are a lot of ways that you can use be smart about the way to use credits, right? And after 30 minutes, this just finished. This was the content brief that we executed at the very beginning. So it just finished. You will see that at some point it got some errors, but it just kept going. And right now we have the results. So yeah, hopefully I answered your question, Tom.
Appreciate, Rufre. Another one is from Juan. What happens if you use AI to create the content from the data you get back? In terms of, I'm thinking it was the content brief we were showing at that point. So what if we just use AI, feed the AI with the content brief? What will happen with the SEO content brief informed by the data available in SE Ranking?
Yeah, I can answer that. So you can definitely use AI to generate the whole article based on the brief, and it can be the next step of your automation. And this article can rank, but what we see from our experiments that this content is probably not for a long-term SEO strategy, and you still need to verify, to improve the content, to add some unique additional information, to add some unique value, and for sure you need to double check that. And in this case, it should be fine. So you have the automated brief creation. You can use AI to speed up the process, but still there should be human to verify and to improve this content.
It will be like working with a junior SEO, right? Or a data analyst, probably. So you are partnering with them.
All right, moving on to the next question. Why do we need to create such dashboards if we can see the same data in SE Ranking's web panel directly with better UI?
Yeah, completely agree. So that was not my intention that it created an HTML earlier, right, with AI search. It was not my intention, but I would say maybe we can just summarize answers in plain in words.
I mean, right? The way I see the question, you're still doing the work manually, right? So if you're doing the work manually, then you haven't speeded up the process, didn't cut any corners, and we are giving you something, showing you a way that you can basically get this data without actually exploring and manually clicking and looking at everything and copying everything into an Excel file.
Exactly. Basically, you are putting the workflow in practice, right? So the difference between web app and Claude Code is that Claude Code does all the thinking, does all the putting the dots together in order to deliver that.
Yeah, and I can also add why you might need that. Just to create some custom solution, let's say you want something to look a particular way, and maybe you want to create some tool for yourself, or just create some, I don't know, a page on your website if you're, let's say, an SEO agency to generate some traffic. So there might be different use cases. We just wanted to show you like how far you can go with this setup.
All right, moving on to the next question from Alex. Are the KPIs the same you see in SE Ranking? Because I sometimes see discrepancies when data is being dragged by an MCP.
In our case, the data that you see on the MCP is the same available in the API. It's the same available in the web app. So I see some of our competitors, they offer sample data. They offer just legacy information, right? That's not. We offer the latest information. You have access to a trial. It has 100,000 credits, right, for any new account created. And I would say you can fill it by yourself. That we will delivering the keywords data, backlinks, and all the same data that you are able to see on the web app.
Thank you. We have a question that Anastasia touched on in terms of what are the chances of AI-generated content living long in the top of the search results. So how can fully AI-generated content rank at the top if it's built from existing web info, while Google's 2025 core/spam updates reward original experience, fresh insights, and real expertise?
Yeah, we would really love to see that. Let's say Google doesn't show fully AI generated content on top of its SERP, but we still see that even after the last core update. So from what I can see, there is still tons of AI generated content and it ranks, but I guess your brand does not want to generate the content without any human verification and to create basically the same content that already exists on the internet in different variations. Yeah, but it still exists and it still ranks, and different experiments show that, and we can see ourselves that it is there. So it works, but it's not a long-term strategy.
All right, thank you. Moving on to another question. Is it possible to automate the AI visibility analysis so that it is loaded, for example, every week?
There are different ways to do that. I would say first thing that comes to my mind is about OpenClaw, right? The new agentic way that everybody is talking about. You can do it that way. OpenClaw uses tool, same way as Claude Code, in order to do that. Claude Code is built in a way that the different things that you need, you use it in order to achieve it, right? If you want weekly summaries, I would say you can create a Python code, you ask it to run it on a weekly basis, and that's a way to solve it. So you are using Claude Code and our MCP in order to generate a file that is going to be executed once a week. Otherwise, you can use more other tools like OpenClaw that it basically has a native way in order to get that information.
All right, thank you. One very straightforward question. What makes the SE Ranking API unique to use in Claude Code?
I would say I have my own take, and Anastasia, if you want, you can as well share your own practice. I would say what makes it unique is it is way more cost effective than anything there is in the market. We are uniquely positioned because we have classic SEO and AI search data put together, right? So we are really one tool in order to get all the data that you need in order to do SEO in 2026, right? And our costs are really competitive, and our quality of the data is top of the market. So I would say we are the best positioned in order to be used in order to automate SEO tasks using SEO. What do you think, Anastasia?
Yeah, I fully agree. I guess the main SEO tools still have similar SEO data because it's core for SEO tasks. But what we also have is probably AI search endpoints. I guess this is something unique about our API. But still, yeah, I fully agree with you, Gifra, that we provide the main SEO data to automate, to speed up different tasks, but being really budget friendly.
And at the same time, quality is, sorry, Andrew, just wanted to reiterate that quality for keywords, quality for domain analysis, traffic estimates, and so on. So we are growing quite rapidly because our quality in that regard is top of the market, right? So, yeah.
Yeah,
Just try it for yourself.
Sorry. Yeah, I can also add what I really like about our API is being able to also analyze AI overviews, like the answers, sources, analyze people also ask, so different SERP data, which is also cool.
All right, and now I would like to add that we are just going to take 2 more questions that I have already started from the same user, Witigonia. So the first question is, are there any plans to pre-build open clause skills to expand the skill list? And before you get to that question, and the other one is how to test drive the API/Claude integration. Is there a separate trial?
In case that, so let me address the second one first and then the first one. So the second one, I would say, in case that you already have a SE Ranking account and you already have consumed the trial because you are already a user, right? You can get in contact with us and we will enable this add-on for you in order to be able to try it. Even though that by the end of this workshop, everybody is going to be receiving a nice present from API credits, right? So that everybody attending this workshop is going to be able to have some credits for them to be able to use it. So we have a culture about enabling users to basically try before you buy and enabling you in order to basically do everything that you want, right? So hopefully that answers the second question. And going back to the first one, definitely that's important. We try to deliver on where the market is trending. If I'm not mistaken, I installed OpenClaw at end of January, less than maybe a month ago, and things have changed a lot. The founder has been hired by OpenAI, and who knows what is going to happen in the next couple of weeks. I would say we are working on skills. As I said, that's for Claude Code, Claude Cowork, right? And if they can be extended for OpenClaw as well, this is something that we will be sharing news with all of you. This is a really great idea. So yeah, thank you.
All right, and that brings our list of questions to a close and our event. We've stayed over well over 10 minutes than we planned. And let me just do the outro slides. And again, I want to thank everybody who stayed. I want to apologize for the technical issues that we had, but we do invite you to check out the expanded free trial of SE Ranking, where you'll have a lot more limits to your tools, that you'll be able to try a lot more and get a lot more things done to sort of experience the experience of using SE Ranking. And while you're doing that, in case you're going to be doing that, I want to remind you to use your business email. Again, I like to use the words help us help you, but this does help us create better content for you, better materials, better events, and just to understand who you're working, who we're working with. So yeah, be sure to do that. And that sort of ties into one of the last questions, how you can test it out and try it. So once you have that, we'll start the communication with you and make sure to cover everything that you guys need. And as a sorry for taking so long to get started, and as a little something to get you motivated to try everything out that we've talked about, we're giving you out 100,000 free API credits, and that includes MCP workflows that you have. But we're not gonna, since we're on YouTube, we don't want to just give this email out to everybody. So we're gonna be sharing that email. Gonna be sharing that information in the email, in one of the follow-up emails. So be sure to stay tuned for that one. And one of the other things is, just to close things off, we have our community up on Meta on Facebook, where we discuss everything happening in search, all the different things that we're working on, like different tools and features currently in development. You're welcome to ask our team questions, engage with your peers and the community. We also have different giveaways. Yeah, so be sure to join that community and let's develop search together. And one of the last things is that we're available on most social media platforms, including LinkedIn, X, and Facebook. And we have a YouTube channel where you're probably watching this. So yeah, we invite you to keep track of us, follow us, and reach out to us if anything was unclear, or if you have any requests, additional requests of what you might want to see in these at these events. I want to thank Gufre and Anastasia for sharing so much valuable information, and definitely be sure to watch the recap, the replay of the event, because there's definitely a lot of hidden gems in there that you guys want to take your time and explore them at your own pace. All right, I want to thank everybody again, and stay safe, and here's to high results in search.
Yeah, thank you all for coming today.
Thank you.